Deep in a leafy green gully half an hour out of Timaru, you'll find a network of limestone caves. And if you hold your head the right way, some pictures will emerge.
Sometimes you've got to kind of get your eye in, so if you start to look for your black pigment or your red pigment, within a minute or so they start to appear out of the limestone canvas. What do you reckon that is, Phil?
Well, it's hard to know. It could be an aquatic creature, it could be a map, for instance.
There are 760 Māori rock art sites in the South Island alone, covered in artworks painted between 500 and 1,000 years ago.
The meaning of rock art has been lost over time, but the kind of things we can see are kuri dogs, we see taniwha, we see insects, birds, all sorts of things that Māori would have been seeing in there before the Europeans arrived.
The images include extinct birds like the moa and the poakai, or haast eagle. And in this cave, there's the pièce de résistance, an extremely rare painting of a pregnant taniwha.
Some New Zealanders will know what this image is. It was made famous by a stamp. It is the famous Upahi taniwha, probably the most precious site for Ngāi Tahu Whānui. There are a couple of theories around this particular site, and one is this is the creation story with Papatūānuku, the Mother Earth, who is hapu. That's evident by her swollen belly and her little hands poking out her belly, and she is connected to Raki, or Rangi, the Sky Father. Sometimes the rock art was used for spiritual ceremonies. Other times it was simply, this is where we're finding weka, or this is where we're finding different types of plants or birds. Watch out, here's where the haast eagle poakai is. Beware that he doesn't swoop on you. And also people just leaving their mark along the way.
The land surrounding the caves is in the middle of a major restoration program. The aim is to transform farmland into a forest of nearly 50,000 native trees and bring back skinks, butterflies, moths and eels.
I spent a lot of my time growing up on the banks of the Aotearoa River, not far from here with a family batch, and so we used to come up here exploring. So to be back here 50 years later is a pretty privileged opportunity.
My dad had grown up on the river. He worked there most of his life and he never knew about any of these places. When he came down, he was amazed. He couldn't believe what he was seeing, and it was very emotional. Most New Zealanders, are unaware of the rock art in Aotearoa, so that's part of the Ngāi Tahu Māori Rock Art Trust, is to bring them back into the light. Rock art is the original art galleries of Aotearoa.
Isn't that incredible? And by the way, if you're wondering what they used for paint way back then, what if they could get their hands on? They used berries and shark liver and weka fat, apparently. It actually sounds like a pretty good feed.
Delicious. I think it's so amazing how those images look like so many other images of different people that have been painted on rocks thousands and thousands of years ago. They're so beautiful. I'm really looking forward to going and laying my own eyes on them one day.